Hey guys, how's it going? Just me, Nesta2 here with another video for you. And today we got yet another figure matchup. Alright, and if you forgot what a figure matchup is, we bring two figures who are based on the same character by two different companies and we compare them and see which is the better figure. And today we're going to be doing DC Direct versus Mattel. Green Lantern Hal Jordan. In this corner we got from the 2008 Mattel DC Universe Classics Wave 3 Green Lantern Hal Jordan. And on this corner we got from the early 2009 DC Direct Justice League of America Series 3 Green Lantern Hal Jordan. So there's only 1 year difference between these two figures, but both are different companies. This Hal Jordan figure has been reused a couple times and been repainted, but we're including this one, not the others. Same thing with this Hal Jordan, he's been re-released with different paint. He had the gray hair over his ears. There's also the metallic paint one. We're looking at this one today. And looking on camera right now, both of these figures look a little weird when it comes to their green. This Hal Jordan looks a little blue-greenish almost on camera here. That's weird, but whatever. Alright, let's get started. For accessories, we have the DC Direct version. Here is the base, or the stand. The standard base. All the figures in the wave came with this, and all the other series. They all came with this. Justice League of America. You know, the classic looking shield from the comics. With one peg right here. And he stands on it. He does have one peg hole in the bottom of his foot, not the other side. So you can peg it in into the stand. And here he is on his base. He fits on there. So if you're one of those collectors that likes to have your figures on the base / stand, then there you go. Looks good. He also comes with his lantern. And what good is Green Lantern without his lantern, right? Because eventually he'll run out of battery. So he's gonna need this. And it's pretty decent. It looks the way it should. It's got, you know, only a little bit of sculpting detail, but it does have the handle right here, so you can hold it. It's kind of loose though, like as you can see it falls out of place, so that's kind of annoying. It always falls out, all these years having them. And it does have the translucent part right here that you can see through. Here's a light. I hope you guys can see that on camera here. Translucent. And if you're wondering if you can hold it, it does have a sculpted hand like this, open, so yes, he can hold it. So that's good. And for the Mattel figure, it comes with two accessories, but I only have one. One of the accessories was a Build-A-Figure piece for Grundy, Collect and Connect. I do not have it, mostly because I bought this figure loose, and I wasn't interested in building Grundy back then, and now I regret it, because that was a great figure. But the second accessory is his lantern. It does come with one, of course, and it's sculpted pretty decently. Looks a little bit thinner than the DC Direct one. So it's got a little bit of sculpting detail right here, and but it does not have the translucent part right here. It is not see-through, so if you shine it up to the light, nothing's gonna happen. But he does have a better handle. Look at that. It's not loose. It's not gonna fall off. So that's good. He has a handle actually sculpted on there, so that's good. I will say this lantern paint does not match the figure, as you can tell already just with him being in the back. This is like a yellow green almost, and he's like a darker green, dark blue, but the camera is making it more exaggerated than what it is, but it's still different colors. And if you're wondering if he can hold the lantern, the answer is yes, because he does have an open hand sculpted on. So you just put the handle in his hand, but his hand is not as opened as the other one. There we go. And he's holding it. Looks good. But yeah, you can see how it doesn't match in color. So that kind of sucks. But he is holding it, so that's good. And if we compare the two lanterns, DC Direct and Mattel, they're different. The DC Direct one has the translucent part right there. Mattel does not. Mattel is a little more thinner. As you can see right here, the middle part, it's thinner than this side of the DC Direct one. See that? And the paint is a lot different. The handles are different. And now we'll get into the figure's sculpt, paint, and size. And I will say that there's one flaw with this figure, and that wasn't and it's nobody's fault. It's not the factory's. It's actually mine. If you can see right here, I'm gonna do a close-up. See right here, a little scratch right there on the white of the circle, the logo. That was due to the earthquake that was a few months ago. Couple months ago. There was an earthquake, and it just like knocked down a shit ton of my figures, including him. So they just hit the ground. I think he hit another shelf on the way there. So that kind of sucks. But it's not too bad. And that's not a flaw of the figure. That's mine. But anyways, you can see the logo here. It looks good. It's nice and painted. It looks clean. It's awesome. And the rest of the figure is really good as well. He is an original sculpt. Like I said, he's been reused a couple times, but only for Hal Jordan. He's not been used for Batman, Superman, or anybody else. So I like that. I really like that, because you know, I'm getting tired of people using the same body. Jack Specifics did it with a lot of wrestlers. Hasbro's doing it with their Bucky cap mold. DC Universe does it a lot too. So it's kind of tiresome. So the fact that he has a body mold that will only be used for him is nice. Look at this abs right here. Damn, this guy is strong. He's got the white gloves painted. He's even got like muscles right here on his ribs, right here on the creases on the glove. Looks good. Look at his face. He looks good. He's like he's all serious, you know. He's got the little curl like Superman on his hair. The mask is sculpted on. Looks good. I like the flesh tone that they used. It's got good eyes. And yeah, the paint follows through down here, so it matches. Everything matches. It's got the creases right here for his ankles. Looks good. Yeah. And for his height, he is approximately 6.5 inches tall. So let's bring in some figures to compare him. And here is Hal Jordan with two other figures. Here we have from DC Direct, Flashpoint, Zoom. And here is from Mattel, DC Universe Classics, Aquaman. For height, you can tell he doesn't really go with both lines. I mean, look, here he is next to Aquaman. He's a little bit taller. And I guess you could pass for him, Hal Jordan being taller than Aquaman. But he's going to be taller than all DC Universe figures. Except for, you know, a few that are the actual major big guys. But then if you bring him in with Superman, he'll be taller than Superman, so that'll be weird. But because he is a DC Direct figure, he goes with other DC Direct figures. That's a good size right here. They match in height. Zoom might maybe slightly taller, not even an inch, but he's there and they match. So that's good. And for articulation, this is where the figure kind of lacks. So he's got a ball jointed head. So you can go side to side just fine. You can look up a good amount. You can look down not that much. But here he is straight and he can do tilt. So I like that. I love it. I love it actually. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Pin and socket shoulders. I'm not sure if it's pin and socket or just straight up ball joint in there. But you can go up and down, side to side. But not very much. Like, this is as far it's going to go up. And single jointed elbow right there. It's decent. Forearm swivel right there. Nothing at the wrist because it's all right here. And you can see his hand. Look at how his hands look. Look nice. Same thing the other side. And however, the ring right here, if you can get a closer look at the ring here, it's not that great. I should have mentioned it earlier, but the ring here is not sculpted at all. I mean, it is sculpted on there on his finger, but it's just a blue dot. A green dot, actually. Like, there's no detail at all. It's just like, and now I just put the paint, and there it is. I mean, it does what it does, because you're not going to see it up close. But, yeah, that's kind of disappointing. It does have V-cut swivels right here. They're not a perfect V because then it goes straight down here and go this far up and this far back. So that's good. But he cannot go side to side. No splits, no thigh cuts. Single jointed knee right there. Not very much at all. Not much range. You see that? Same thing the other side. The other side has a little bit more, I guess. And swivel at the boot right here. So that'll count for the thigh cut if you want. But no ankle joints, and that's it. But what do you expect from an older DC Direct figure who focused mostly on sculpt and not articulation, right? And for the Mattel figure, let's get into it. He, like I said, the camera's making his green a little blue-greenish. I'm not sure why, but it's not that blue in person. So yeah, so his paint's pretty good. It's it's green with the black and the white, but it has a little bit of shading onto him. Like he's got some black in there, so that's nice. It works. He's got the matching green down here for his boots. He's got the white, and you can see his logo is painted on as well, and it does look good. He also has the black lining around it. The DC Direct does not. And a few other Hal Jordan figures from DC Universe don't have this lining, from what I've noticed. Look at his face here. He's got the mask sculpted on. Looks good. I like it. He's got some shading in his hair. Sculpted really good. Looks awesome. See his lips and his cheeks. Look really nice. The rest of his body is a generic blank DC Universe body mold that they keep using for the males. However, the ring looks really good. The ring is actually sculpted, unlike the DC Direct one, which is kind of weird. You know, Mattel was all about articulation and sometimes not enough detail, but yet they beat the detail right here with the ring. It's actually sculpted and painted, so that's really good. I like it. So overall, it looks good. His paint isn't as shiny as the DC Direct one though, but it still looks good. And for his height, he is approximately 6 inches. Maybe slightly more due to his hair, but yeah, he is shorter than the DC Direct one. Let's bring in some figures to see how he looks with them. And here is Mattel Hal Jordan with the same figures I compared the DC Direct one to. We got Mattel Aquaman and DC Direct Zoom. So he matches just fine with the other DC classics, so that's good. But now with DC Direct, I mean, like I said before, when it comes to comparing height, you could say Zoom is maybe taller than this figure, Hal Jordan. But how are you gonna say that for every other figure? How are you gonna say Batman is taller than Green Lantern? How are you gonna say everyone basically is now taller than him if you put him in the DC Direct figures? So you should stick him with only DC Universe figures for the most part. And for his articulation, this is where he exceeds. So he's got somewhat of a ball joint, so he can go left and right, side to side just fine. He can look down, yeah. He can look up a little bit, but yeah, he's looking up. And he looks straight. So that's good. He's got a pin and socket at the shoulders and go all the way around. They're kind of tight though. Side to side, pretty good. Bicep swivel. Single jointed elbow, pretty good. Wrist swivel as well. Ab crunch, so that's good. Waist twist. And you have the DC Universe style hips, so you can go forward up and go this far back. Not much though, but it's enough I guess. And side to side and splits, so that's good. So you can do the Van Damme. It's a thigh cut right there, upper thigh cut. Well, actually lower thigh cut. Single jointed knee, but look how far you get. Look at that range. It's beautiful. Look at that. And ankle joint right there. Ankle pivot. Not the pivot, the hinge. Yeah. So he's got a good amount of articulation. He destroys DC Direct with that. So my final verdict on these two. I don't know. It's kind of tough. We got an original sculpt. We got a good paint job, but not that much articulation. We got same body mold. It's been used a million times. Pretty good paint job. Better articulation. I'd say his Lantern's better than his. If he comes with a base, he does not. I don't know. It just kind of depends on your collection when it comes to the size. I don't know. I don't know, man. But I do have a choice. Yeah, I've made my choice. The winner is gonna be the DC Direct version. He's just a way better looking action figure. I mean, yeah, he's really lacking on articulation, but he's got a decent amount. For me, it just goes to show you that an original sculpt goes a long way. Of course, the Mattel one is not bad at all. He's a really good figure. I almost picked him actually. But the same body mold over and over just kind of makes it tiresome. Though he does look good, it's just his original body sculpt, it just shows. It shows that DC Direct just put more effort into their sculpts, More effort goes a long way. His paint's really good. I like him. I've had him for a long time. So with that, I'm gonna say DC Direct wins here. Not by much though. So yeah, what do you guys think? Who would you have chosen? And what would be your reasons? I've made my choice, and I hope you don't judge me on that. Alright you guys, that concludes this figure matchup. And yeah, see you guys next time.